The year is 1942, a pivotal moment in the annals of history. World War II rages on, and the seemingly unstoppable German war machine has advanced deep into Soviet territory, leaving a trail of destruction and despair in its wake. The city of Stalingrad, a strategically vital industrial center on the Volga River, becomes the focal point of Hitler's ambitions in the east. Its factories churn out weapons and supplies crucial to the Soviet war effort. The city bearing Stalin's name takes on immense symbolic importance for both sides, promising a decisive battle for the fate of the Soviet Union. For Hitler, it is a matter of pride and a statement of dominance. For Hitler, capturing Stalingrad would cripple Soviet war production and sever a crucial supply artery, potentially turning the tide of the war in favor of the Axis powers. For Stalin, the city represents more than just factories and railroads. It is a symbol of Soviet resistance against Nazi aggression. The morale of the Soviet people hinges on the defense of this city. The stage is set for one of the most brutal and consequential battles in human history. The streets of Stalingrad will soon echo with the sounds of relentless combat as both sides pour in resources and manpower, determined to claim victory at any cost. Emboldened by early successes on the Eastern Front, Hitler makes a strategic decision to divert the formidable German Sixth Army, commanded by the highly decorated General Friedrich Paulus, towards the industrial city of Stalingrad. This move is seen as a calculated risk, aiming to deliver a decisive blow to Soviet morale and disrupt their war production. The German plan hinges on a swift and overwhelming capture of the city, capitalizing on their superior air power and the might of their armored divisions. The Luftwaffe is tasked with gaining air superiority, while the panzer divisions are expected to crush any resistance with their relentless advance. Confidence runs high within the ranks of the Wehrmacht. Many soldiers, buoyed by previous victories, believe that the battle for Stalingrad will be over quickly, and they will soon be celebrating another triumph. However, the Red Army, fueled by a fervent and unyielding defense of their homeland, prepares for a fight to the death. Soviet soldiers, aware of the strategic importance of Stalingrad, are determined to hold their ground at any cost. Soviet commanders employ a scorched earth policy, destroying anything that might aid the enemy advance. Fields are set ablaze, buildings are demolished, and infrastructure is systematically destroyed to deny the Germans any resources. What was anticipated as a swift and decisive victory for the Germans will soon devolve into a grueling and protracted war of attrition. The harsh winter conditions, combined with the fierce Soviet resistance, will turn Stalingrad into a brutal battlefield unlike any seen before, testing the limits of both armies. In late August 1942, the Luftwaffe unleashes a devastating aerial bombardment on Stalingrad, reducing much of the city to rubble. German forces enter the ruined urban landscape, expecting little resistance. Instead, they are met by fierce counterattacks from determined Soviet defenders. The battle descends into a brutal street-by-street struggle. Every building, every floor becomes a battlefield. Snipers hide in the rubble, picking off soldiers from both sides. Tanks engage in close-quarters combat, their shells echoing through the shattered cityscape. The battle for Stalingrad has begun. The fighting in Stalingrad is unlike anything witnessed before in modern warfare. The Germans, accustomed to mobile warfare across open terrain, find themselves bogged down in a labyrinth of rubble and destruction.
Soviet soldiers, intimately familiar with the city, utilize a network of tunnels and sewers to outmaneuver and ambush their enemies.
One particularly brutal struggle takes place over Mamayev Kurgan, a strategically important hill offering a commanding view of the battlefield. Control of the hill changes hands multiple times, with both sides suffering horrendous casualties.
The fighting is relentless, fueled by desperation and a refusal to yield.
As the battle rages through the fall of 1942, the tide begins to turn.
The Soviets, under the command of General Georgy Zhukov, have been secretly amassing reserves for a counteroffensive.
Operation Uranus, as it is codenamed, aims to encircle the German Sixth Army and trap them within Stalingrad.
The Soviet counterattack begins in November, smashing through overstretched Romanian and Italian units on the flanks of the German Sixth Army.
The speed and ferocity of the Soviet assault takes the Germans by surprise.
Paulus pleads with Hitler for permission to break out, but his requests are denied. The trap is closing.
By late November, the Soviet pincers close around Stalingrad, trapping the German Sixth Army within the city. Cut off from resupply and facing dwindling supplies, the situation for the encircled German troops becomes increasingly desperate. Winter sets in with a vengeance, adding frostbite and starvation to the horrors of war.
Despite the dire circumstances, we fight on, clinging to the hope of relief. The Luftwaffe attempts to airlift supplies into the besieged city, but their efforts prove insufficient. The once mighty 6th Army is slowly being bled dry.
In February 1943, after months of unimaginable suffering, the remnants of the German 6th Army surrender to the Soviets. Nearly 100,000 German soldiers go into captivity, many of them wounded, starving, and suffering from frostbite. Few will ever see their homeland again.
The Battle of Stalingrad is over. The Red Army has achieved a stunning victory, halting the German advance in the east and turning the tide of the war in Europe. But the victory comes at a horrific cost. The city of Stalingrad is in ruins, its streets littered with the dead.
The Battle of Stalingrad is a testament to the human capacity for both unimaginable brutality and extraordinary resilience. The fighting left an indelible mark on the city and its people. Estimates of total casualties vary, but it is believed that over 1 million soldiers and civilians perished during the battle.
The city itself lay in ruins, a testament to the ferocity of the fighting. Rebuilding Stalingrad would be a monumental task, a symbol of the Soviet Union's determination to rise from the ashes of war.
The scars of battle, both physical and psychological, would linger for generations.
The Battle of Stalingrad is widely regarded as a turning point in World War II. It was one of the deadliest battles in history, lasting from August 23, 1942 to February 2, 1943. The city of Stalingrad, now known as Volgograd, became the focal point of a brutal and relentless struggle between the Axis and Soviet forces. The German defeat shattered the myth of their invincibility. The once feared Wehrmacht, which had seemed unstoppable in its advance across Europe, was now in full retreat. The psychological impact on both the German military and the civilian population was profound and marked the beginning of their long retreat from the east. The Soviet forces, having endured immense hardships, began to push the German army back, reclaiming lost territory and gaining momentum with each passing day. The Soviet victory galvanized the Allied war effort, providing a much-needed boost to morale. It demonstrated that the Axis powers could be defeated, and it encouraged the Allies to intensify their efforts on other fronts, demonstrating that the Nazi war machine could be defeated. The capture of German equipment and the sight of damaged Nazi tanks served as tangible proof of the Soviet triumph.
The battle also had profound geopolitical consequences. It shifted the balance of power in Europe and set the stage for the eventual downfall of the Third Reich. The Soviet Union, having borne the brunt of the fighting against Nazi Germany, emerged as a dominant military force. The Red Army's resilience and determination were on full display during the intense battles in Stalingrad, would emerge from the war as a global superpower with newfound influence on the world stage. The raising of the Soviet flag over the ruins of Stalingrad symbolized not just a military victory, but a significant shift in global power dynamics, albeit one scarred by the immense sacrifices made by its people. The cost of victory was high, with millions of Soviet soldiers and civilians losing their lives. The war memorials and scenes of mourning serve as a poignant reminder of the human cost of this monumental struggle.
The legacy of Stalingrad, a city forever etched in the annals of history, is a testament to the resilience and determination of its defenders. Before the battle, Stalingrad was a thriving industrial city, but the war left it in ruins. Serves as a reminder of the human cost of war. The aftermath of the battle saw a city devastated, with countless buildings reduced to rubble, and a population forever changed by the horrors they endured, and the importance of resilience in the face of tyranny. The stories of the soldiers in the trenches and the civilians who lived through the siege highlight the incredible strength and courage required to withstand such adversity.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more historical content. Your support helps us bring more stories from the past to life. Thank you for watching.